everyone. Welcome to First Lutheran, Muskegon, Michigan. Welcome to our faith formation class called Holy Moly.
Whoop, whoop.
Hey, Tofik, I'm glad you're here today. We got an exciting story to tell about a boy named Jesus, and the boy at the temple. I wonder if it's the same one. Shall we get started?
Let's get started.
All righty, here we go. For my friends at home, it is on page 230 in your Spark Story Bible. Well, every year, Jesus' family traveled from their home in Nazareth to Jerusalem to celebrate the festival of Passover. Jesus loved going to the festival, and he loved the crowds of people. He loved the noise and the bustle of activity, and he loved spending time in the temple. Remember we talked about that last week in the church? What we would call today. One year, when Jesus was 12, the festival began like any other. Joseph, Mary, and Jesus enjoyed the sights, the sounds, and activities of the festival all together. But when the festival was over, Mary and Joseph joined others from Nazareth for the long walk home. But when the group stopped to camp at the end of the first day, Mary and Joseph could not find Jesus anywhere. Oh my, I bet that was scary. Oh, Tofik. Everyone thought he had been walking with someone else in the group. Jesus! Yelled his parents. Jesus, where are you?
Oh, Joseph, do you know where Jesus is? Did he run off again?
I have not seen him lately.
Oh, I worry so when he runs away.
Well, he does like spending time with the people.
Yeah, he does like people.
Mary and Joseph were frantic. I can't imagine. Oh, they quickly walked back to Jerusalem looking for him. They searched the city high and low for 3 whole days until they finally found Jesus in the temple. Oh, Mary and Joseph were surprised at what they saw. Jesus was in the temple talking with the teachers that were twice his age. Oh my. He was just a boy, but he could talk about God with a room full of grown-ups. That'd be like talking with Pastor Bill for 3 days. Oh my goodness, about God. Wow. He was just this little boy, and the teachers in the temple, they were impressed with what Jesus knew about God. And Mary and Joseph were proud, but they were still a bit angry with Jesus. Jesus, why weren't you with us? We have been looking all over for you, Mary and Joseph exclaimed. And Jesus replied, why were you looking for me? Didn't you understand that I was in my Father's house?
Well, Mary, we found him safe and sound.
Yes, we did. You were right, as usual. What do you think he meant when he said he was in his Father's house? We found him in the temple.
I'm not sure.
Mary and Joseph didn't understand, but with that, they gathered their belongings and began the long walk back home.
Miss Paula, what do you think Jesus meant when he said, I was in my Father's house?
Tofik, that's a really good question. And we talked about the temple last week, and that the temple was a place where people would come close to God. That's where they felt close to God, and they studied about God, and they read the Torah, and they were together. And so Jesus said he was in his Father's house because he felt very close to God.
Thank you, Miss Paula, for explaining that to me.
Well, Tawfiq, you are welcome. I love your questions, and I am so thankful that you come along for the ride each week. See you next week.
Whoop, whoop! Okay, kids, it's time to get your activity packets out and craft supplies and get ready for Miss Susan. Whoop, whoop!
Welcome to today's Bible adventure. Okay, grab your activity trinket packet and grab the telescope because Jesus is lost. Mary and Joseph can't find him, and he's only 12 years old. Help look for him with this telescope. So we're gonna do an adventure and search for Jesus. Actually, we're going to use our imagination. But thanks for playing along with me. So take this telescope, and I hope it reminds you about the story about the boy teacher. So the boy teacher, he was lost. Jesus and his family were on a trip to Jerusalem. Have any of you gone on a trip? They were celebrating Passover, so they were celebrating a holiday. And Jesus was 12 years old, but Mary and Joseph couldn't find him, and they couldn't find him for 3 days. That would be very, very scary for Mary and Joseph. I couldn't imagine. For 3 days. They were probably worried sick. And they finally found him. Where did they find him? They were searching everywhere. They found him in the temple. It's their church. They found him in the temple at Jerusalem. He was talking to the temple teachers. So imagine a 12-year-old boy who was lost from his family, who started to head back to home after the holiday, and they found Jesus in the temple. He was talking to the teachers, and what was amazing was that the teachers at the temple couldn't believe how much he knew, how much knowledge and wisdom he already had at 12 years old. And even as a boy, Jesus was a wise teacher. His parents found him teaching in the temple. So he was teaching some of these teachers. And you know what? I learn a lot from you guys. Whenever I see you kids, you remind me about lessons that I had forgotten. So thank you for being teachers as well. So today's craft for the younger kids, you're going to open up your activity sheet, and you're going to make a story scroll and store it in a leather pouch. It's not really leather, it looks like leather. It's paper. So you're gonna cut this blue line. See those scissors? You're gonna cut that whole blue line. So then you've got a big piece at the bottom, and that's your story scroll. It shows you the story about Jesus being lost at the temple. Where was he? Oh my goodness, I can't find him. Where is he? Let's look under the sheep. Oh, there he is. Oh my goodness. And so we're gonna take the top part of it, and it's open wide, but you'll see these blue dots. So if you have a hole puncher, use a hole puncher. If not, ask an adult to help you poke holes with a pen or another object so that you can have holes right there. And then you're going to lace your 2 pipe cleaners through those holes. And I just taped the bottom. So there's one pipe cleaner and there's the second pipe cleaner. So I started weaving in and out. It's kind of like sewing. And then I'm gonna weave it in again, pull it through, and then weave it, pull it through, and I'm gonna tie them together. If you need help from an adult, please ask. And then you're going to have a nice pouch that you can put your story scroll in. So here is your pouch. And I'm gonna roll up my story scroll. And then that way I can take the story and I can go tell other people that I know about this story. About the boy teacher, and he was only 12 when he was teaching. So I've got my story scroll in there, so I am ready to go. Got my telescope. We are off. We're gonna tell other people about this story. For the more advanced kids, this one is more advanced, so be patient with this one because this one's a tough one. You're gonna open up your activity sheet and you're gonna cut the blue line. So this orange piece right there, you can throw that part away. That part is, we're not gonna use. We're gonna use these 4 squares. Now there are triangles within the squares, but cut out the 4 squares. So you're gonna get 1, 2, 3, and 4. And then what you're gonna do is you're actually going to make a diorama. So have you ever made a diorama before? Is this your first one? Well, you'll have some more of these in school too. And the diorama is of important relationships in your lives. So just like Jesus and his family and the temple and his father's house. Why do you think he said it was his father's house? And his important relationships in his life too. So you're going to start, it looks difficult, but you can do it. So you've got these 4 squares and all 4 of them have 1 green square and 1 orange square and 2 yellow squares. So you're going to fold on the dots go on the outside. So the dots are on the outside of your fold. So you're gonna fold that. Fold it. So it looks like we're folding it almost like a cootie catcher. So fold and fold. Excuse me. And then you've got it's kind of bent, but then you take the 2 green squares and you put them together. And that's where you glue. So you do green, green, and green. After you cut this part, I'm sorry, I missed that step. You do cut this one corner. And then you glue the green to the green. I'm gonna do that. I'm gonna glue green to green. And then you've got this shape. So you've got your 3D shape now. And this one says my community. That's one important relationship. And then once you've got all 4 of your squares like that, then you do the 2 yellows to the other 2 yellows. So the bottom is always the orange person, the orange Jesus on there. So there's your diorama of important people in your life. And there is a spot for the names, so you can write people's names, like in your community, your family, your church, and your friends. And maybe some of those names are in multiple parts of the diorama too. And it'll just remind you about this story and Jesus's relationships too. And wanting to go back to the temple, his father's house. We're going to close with a prayer. So thank you for joining us today, and have fun looking for 12-year-old Jesus. He is lost. We're going to end with a prayer. Dear God, remind me that you are always near, blessing my actions. I'll stamp my foot on the ground to feel the world you made. I'll clap my hands to praise you. I'll hug myself because I'm your child. Amen. Thanks for joining us. We'll see you next time.